And we start off these WTF moments for Friday Night SmackDown with some sobering news, and that of course is the fact that this show had the lowest ever viewership in SmackDown history or something. According to somebody on the internet, which means it has to be true, the viewership for Friday Night SmackDown dipped below 2 million views for the first time ever or something. I do not know what to believe, but what I do know is with this here video coming out on Monday, that means there's nobody watching this video at all, which is a massive shame because I was hoping to share my utter jubilation of Tamina finally following me on Twitter with the world, but since nobody's here, I'll have to party by myself. And I have to say, by the way, this video is coming to you late because Tamina, she followed me on Twitter early on Friday morning. I woke up on Friday morning, I saw Tamina had followed me and sent me a lovely message. I love you, Tamina. I shot a video with my husband, Sam Driver, and then since we stopped filming that video at about midday on Friday, I have drank every single thing in my flat, so much so that my eye has turned pink. Hit the intro.
WTF! WTF!
Made a grave mistake, Corey. And we kick off these WTF moments from a bit of a meh episode of SmackDown with a direct quote from one Corey Graves when he said, "Last round Otis got the girl, but which one of these two men will earn the opportunity to climb the corporate ladder?" And I was thinking, do we really need to be asking this question, Corey Graves, when one of the people in this here conundrum is Dolph Ziggler? And I know that Dolph has done it once before, but even when Dolph did do it back in 2013, he didn't really do it, did he? Bloody concussions and Vince McMahon getting bored with the concept of two world champions in WWE. This was nailed on for an Otis win, wasn't it? Of course it was. Dolph Ziggler always fails. And I think it was at this moment right here that we learned that both the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches will be happening simultaneously, which means at the same time. And it was at this moment I realised, I sat back in my chair and I thought, bloody hell, in a massive Scottish accent, we're doing an episode of Gladiators at Money in the Bank 2020. Women, you will go on my first whistle. Men, you will go on my second whistle. You know how it goes if you're a massive fan of Gladiators, which of course you are, because Gladiators was fantastic. But with the Boneyard and the Funhouse fresh in the mind and with this brand new information that really had me shooketh to my coreth, I cannot wait for Money in the Bank 2020. It is going to be radio rental. Can't wait. And then we have Daniel Bryan asking the question, is it true? Does Vince McMahon have real dinosaur bones in his office? And my immediate thought, Daniel Bryan, was yes. First of all, Vince McMahon, as we all know, is a dinosaur. Vince McMahon works inside Vince McMahon's office. Therefore, with Vince McMahon being a dinosaur and Vince McMahon the dinosaur working inside Vince McMahon's office, when Vince McMahon is inside of his office, there is indeed dinosaur bones in Vince McMahon's office. Lockdown's going well. But then I remembered, there's that thing there on Vince McMahon's wall inside of his office as well. Are you really going to ask Vince McMahon if those bones are real or not? I have it on good authority from Vince McMahon himself. That was a half-assed impression. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But apparently, Vince was there with a dinosaur in a headlock. And then we have Michael Cole claiming that for the first time ever, it's Daniel Bryan versus big baldy bastard Baron Corbin. And as far as I can see, it actually bloody well is. An alleged first time ever singles match on a WWE show is actually a first time singles match. And that never ever ever happens. When they always say first time ever, it's always a lie. Apart from this instance, right here, and I think we're all dead. The end is nigh, the end is nigh, time to run away, the end is nigh, nigh. So then we see big baldy bastard Baron Corbin attempting to hit an end of days on Daniel Bryan onto a ladder. Does he not know how that move works? As we all know, when big baldy bastard Baron Corbin is handing himself the gnarliest of rock bottoms, the back of his head lands right next to the front of his opponent's head. You know what I mean. Ooh, like that. So with that ladder in the area where both opponent and big baldy bastard Baron Corbin's head would have landed, he would have KO'd himself. It would have been like an egg cracking all over the ring mat. Yolk everywhere. What a mess. Hey now, WWE, you set of disrespectful bastards. Get that there. Update it now. As we all know, Cultaholic Wrestling Podcast Hall of Famer Captain Tom Moore was promoted to Colonel Tom Moore last Thursday in an honorary role by the British Army. Easy for me to say. So why? He's a colonel now, WWE. Get that graphic updated now. Although, of course, this week's SmackDown was pre-recorded, I do believe. So I guess we can let them off with this one. Man alive, Bray Wyatt speaking about his animals leaving him. That was absolutely heartbreaking. How could you separate a mother from its young, Vince? How could you separate a mother from its young man? But then also, Bray Wyatt went on to mention the reptilian people. And I don't know about you, you might have listened to Bo Dallas appearing on Chris Jericho's podcast a few years ago. If you haven't, and with that line from the promo fresh in your mind, go and listen to it and you'll learn some really weird things about Bo Dallas and maybe too Bray Wyatt. And then if he wasn't already, because of course everybody who faces Bray Wyatt and or The Fiend these days is automatically a heel, Big Braun Strowman and his massive fake Strowman Express that is nowhere near as good as the Tamina train. He went and turned heel on SmackDown, so he did. He stood there and said, I've had enough of the puppets and I've had enough of the Firefly Funhouse. And it's quite literally like when Seth Rollins banged the Firefly Funhouse down. When back then, Seth Rollins was supposed to be the top babyface in WWE, and the Firefly Funhouse was the most popular thing within the WWE universe. It made no sense, that Braun. Here man, WWE, will you please stop putting those fantastic Jeff Hardy promos on when Sheamus's music is still playing and Sheamus is trying to celebrate a big win against a very tough jobber on an episode of SmackDown. If you keep going down this road, you're quite literally going to get Michael Cole murdered. And I don't know about you, but looking at the back of Jeff Hardy's t-shirt there, I was left asking, what the hell kind of effery, uckery, I don't know, what kind of bollocks has Jeff Hardy playing Willow, Matt Hardy playing Sir Guy, Hurricane Helms playing Kid Vicious, Joey Abs playing Venom, Shannon Moore, who of course was, and still is probably, the #1 MFer, playing Kid Dynamo? What is that? What is it? If you know, let me know. Literally thought that was Victoria. Speak about all the things she said. How about all the things Sonia is saying at the minute? Sonia Deville is on fire. Mandy Rose is terrified. I'm sorry. And then we have Jomo, John Morrison, saying that he and The Miz, hey hey, ho ho, they do not put up with sneaky tigers, and neither does Joe Exotic. So along with Sheamus murdering Michael Cole on a SmackDown coming near to you very soon, it also looks like we're going to get Jomo and The Miz, hey hey, ho ho, euthanizing Lindsay Dorado. SmackDown is getting really dark at the minute. And while we're here, Mizzles, Mr. Mike Mizanin, son of Potato George. Sorry, George. It's Carol Baskin, not Carol Baskins. Now, I don't know whether to make this a grave mistake or whether not to make this a grave mistake, because that there documentary about the Tiger King and Carol Baskin, it really made it look like a certain thing happened. If you know, you know. But I've got to mention the moment where The Miz said he would put Michael Cole on a date with Carol Baskins. That's not cool. Or a cat or a kitten, Miz. Her name is Carol Baskin. And then Corey Graves piped up and made a joke about a septic tank. Make of that what you will. And then we have The Miz bringing up the main event, that WWE film on the Netflix at the minute. Special watch along with myself and Tom Campbell on the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast feed on Acast at the minute. It's a right hoot. But then we have Michael Cole, who, remember, is the ultimate company man in WWE ever, because he allows Vince McMahon to whap out his dinosaur willy and do some dinosaur piss right in Michael Cole's ear at least once a week for the past 20 years. Michael Cole pipes up and says, well, Corey Graves in that film, Miz. What does that say about that crappy film? Not a direct quote. And I think we all just found out why Sheamus is going to murder Michael Cole. You cannot go burying your own company's movies like that anyway. Compared to the Big Show show, the main event deserves all of the Oscars. It's actually quite fun. I enjoyed it. Acast for a watch along with myself and Tom. You'll have a right good time. We are in bizarro world in the WWE Universe at the minute because, of course, we have the push of Apollo Crews on Monday Night Raw. Before this week's SmackDown, we had the push of Dana Brooke taken off. Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik, they got a big shock win on last week's show. And now on the most recent episode of SmackDown, the bloody Forgotten Sons beat the New Day. That's the WTF moment there. The Forgotten Sons beat the New Day. The Forgotten Sons, of course, who did bugger piss all in NXT, and now they're beating 8-time WWE World Tag Team Champions, the New Day, on a SmackDown down. How good is NXT's tag team roster compared to SmackDown's? Very. So then we get to this bit backstage here between Dolph Ziggler and Sonia Deville. And Sonia speaking about how she's going to beat up Mandy. And then Dolph did a weird thing. He says that once Sonia has beaten up Mandy, he'll slide on up next to Mandy, the new Universal Champion, and he'll make her feel better. And what he said was bad enough, but the way he said that line, oh, it's creepy. I mean, surely Dolph Ziggler, when he picked up that script, must have known what he was saying. Surely he must have realised when he was speaking very slowly and psychotically and a little bit creepy. What he was saying was sounding really psychotic and really creepy. Surely he realised there was a camera right in front of him, beaming, broadcasting, whatever word you want to use, his sentiments to what he's going to do to Mandy around the world. You might as well arrest Dolph Ziggler now, because what he has planned for Mandy, I don't even want to think about it. And spank my arse and call me Gertrude, the penny just dropped right here. As we all know, Sami Zayn is not available for WWE duty at the minute, so hey, let's just drop big baldy bastard Baron Corbin into Sami Zayn's economical shoes, and hey, nobody will notice, will they? Well, I did there. Bad of you, WWE, that, come on, man.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
And then we have Corey Graves asking a very silly question, and that is a man the size of Otis even capable of climbing a ladder in a Money in the Bank ladder match? Kane, Tensai, Mark Henry, Big Show, the star, of course, of Netflix's Big Show show, all have been in Money in the Bank ladder matches, and quite frankly, Corey Graves, just give Otis a big ladder and he'll be fine. We all love a big ladder, don't we? Because they're big. This is probably the biggest win of Otis's career, says Michael Cole very calmly. And it looks like we've got a case of the Apollo Cruises on SmackDown as well, of course on Raw. Apparently, a Money in the Bank qualifying match win over MVP is the biggest win of Apollo's career, even though it clearly is not. He's been on WWE's main roster for like 5 years now, with many big wins a long time ago. He really has. But how can you say such a thing, Michael Cole, when Otis quite literally beat the same man he beat on this week's SmackDown on the grandest stage of them all? Point at the lovely sign over there. At WrestleMania. WrestleMania is much bigger than a throwaway episode of SmackDown. I do not care what you say. And that is it for all your WTF moments from this week's SmackDown. I hopefully will recover from my heavy weekend of drinking, thanks to Tamina hopping on board the Tamina train and following me on Twitter and sending me a nice message. My life is complete. I've peaked. It's time to give up this YouTube. This is the last WTF moments video ever. I'm off to sit on a train driven by Tamina. Whoa, etc., etc. In me dreams.